Hi, welcome to Open Studio. We'll be discussing on mastering the business of your talents. I have a co-presenter with me, Chesna.
Good day, and with us today is Karen. She is the CEO of Career Planet, an NPO, and today she'll explain to us how she got to start her NPO and the pros and cons about going into business. Back to you, Oscar.
Yeah, you see, entrepreneur these days is more or less like what everyone wants to do. Everybody really desire, they want to be their own boss. They want to set the time when they wake up, when they go to work. They just don't want to be under anybody's control. Fine is awesome. But you see, I really wonder if entrepreneur is for everyone. And that I hope Karen will be able to explain to us. So, Karen, let me ask you, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, thanks, Oscar.
Wow.
Feeling good.
So, for how long have you been doing this?
I've been an entrepreneur most of my life, in fact. But Career Planet, which is my MPO, has been running since 2007. And I think you're definitely correct in saying that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You really do have to have a driving passion to run your own business. And you need to understand that there's a lot of hardships that you're going to have to come up against and you're going to have to conquer. And so I'd say it's really not for the faint-hearted.
Okay, let me give it to you now. What really inspired your motive? What led you to go into Career Planet?
Well, in 2005 and 2006, I worked for another NGO in Cape Town, the Cape Town IT Initiative, City, and one of the projects that I was involved with is a project called Women in ICT. And it involved going to schools and speaking to young people about the different career choices that were available in ICT. And as part of that project, I took women who had achieved in ICT, took them to the schools, and we spoke to the girls, and we gave them a lot of inspirational stories. But one thing that really, really struck me was how little these girls actually knew about IT or in fact, about a lot of other industries besides IT. And then I also realized it's not just the girls, it's the girls and the boys. So we had a whole class of matriculants that were going out into the big wide world who had a very, very narrow understanding of what was out there for them. And that's actually what inspired me to start Career Planet.
Was it more like a passion? Did you have that first love for that?
Yes, I did. I had a passion for helping youth, particularly. I've been involved with working with youth for many, many years, probably for 20 years. But this was the first time that I took the initiative to start my own organization.
And then I'm pretty sure that came with a lot of challenges because now you have a career, you've been exposed to many things, you've found something you're passionate about. You've gotten to that point that you're going to start your own initiative. But what were the challenges financially? Because you're coming from having a salary, something that someone paying you, to now having to fend for yourself. Yeah. That must have been a challenge. How did you overcome that challenge?
You're right. It is a huge challenge, and it's something that if you're going to start your own business, and particularly an NGO like I did, you really have to have the buy-in and the support of your family. Okay. Because if you don't, you really are going to be lonely. It's lonely enough being an entrepreneur.
So did you get their support?
I certainly did. Yes, my husband was behind me and my children. But I can say in retrospect, it's really is not an easy path to walk when you have a family, particularly. But I did have them behind me, and we all, in fact, my children got very involved. They started coming with to a lot of the workshops that we ran. They traveled around the countryside with us as well. And I really am very fortunate to have been able to live my dream and live my passion with Career Planet.
All right, now I want to ask you this other question. Now, you have a dream, you had a passion, and something really was there you were looking at. So how did you generate the fund? Because I doubt if you had everything in place.
Oh, I certainly didn't. I had a dream, and I also had an idea of how I thought it was going to run, and
Okay.
it really didn't run that way.
Okay.
And that's another bit of advice I can give to any entrepreneurs. Don't think that things are going to run the way that you had planned, because
Please,
they're pretty much...
Can you say that again?
Yes, there really isn't a clear-cut path to where you're going. There's lots of twists and turns, and you need to be flexible enough as an entrepreneur to be able to go with that. I was quite cheeky in the way that I got funding. I was fortunate enough that I was able to borrow some money from our home loan, but I had a terrible experience with that. And it was quite a lot of money, and I put that money into the development of our website, into the actual development. And the company that was doing the development took that money, and a few weeks later went into liquidation, and I lost all that money. It was a huge blow for me and for my family. But you know what, as an entrepreneur, you get knocked down and you get up again. I really was in a desperate space. I had my dream, but I also had a family to look after. And I started writing letters, writing proposals, phoning people, doing a lot of research as to who was offering funding for NGOs particularly. And there was a government fund that I discovered, and I just started pestering them, emailing them, phoning them, with no response whatsoever. Very frustrating, but I knew there was a lot of news coverage about all the money that was in this fund, and I thought, I need to get a piece of that. So what I did was I scraped together the money to buy a one-way ticket to Johannesburg, to Pretoria. And I said to myself, I'm not coming back until I've got the money I need to start up. End of story. And it literally took me 2 days sitting outside this man's office, seeing him walk in and out, seeing other people walk in and out, trying to catch his attention, not having much success.
Wow.
On the second day, his secretary just rolled her eyes when she saw me sitting there, and she just left me, and she said, well, I can't help you. And I said, well,
Nobody was talking to you.
Nobody was talking to me. I sat there and I said, well, I'm not leaving until I see this man.
Wow.
And on the second day, I still have such a clear mental picture of his face. He was sitting at his desk, and his secretary brought him in a pie.
Okay.
This is the man that was running this fund. Brought him in a pie for his lunch. And I thought, it's now or never. There's nobody else in his office. I'm just going to take this opportunity. And I'm not saying that you should invade people's personal space, but in this case, I was desperate, and I believed that he needed to hear what I wanted to tell him. And I went into his office as he was taking a bite of this pie, and I said, I'm really, really sorry to disturb you. And I know what I'm doing is wrong, but you have to hear what I have to say. I've got something you have to hear.
And that was action.
That was action. That was action. And he put the pie down, and he looked at me, and he shook his head, and he said, okay, tell me what you need to tell me. And that, from there onwards, told him the story. He got excited. Next minute, he was phoning his colleagues and said, you need to be here. An hour later, his room was full of people, and he said, right, tell them again.
Wow.
And I told them again, and they said, fine.
So probably that must have been very frustrating for you to waited for 2 days, and after 2 days you just have to fight your way into his office. Yes. I think that was very, very, very passionate of you, and that was very determined.
Determined, and let me tell you, I was very fearful at the time. One of the things I've learned as an entrepreneur is, even if you have a lot of fear, and you probably will have a lot of fear and nervousness, just don't show it.
Okay.
Just don't fake it to make it. Yeah. Look confident, even though you might not be feeling confident at all. And what people see, what you show them, is what they see and they believe.
Now, before she asks you the next question, let me ask you, were you not worried if you walk to meet with him and he just simply say, oh, please, I don't want to see you, get out of my office? You were not afraid of that?
I didn't even think that.
You never thought
I just
of that?
decided, this man needs to hear my story.
That was brave.
And that's what I did.
And on that note, what was that story? So what does Career Planner do? How does it service the community?
Right. So at the time when I started Career Planet, there was very little out there in the way of career guidance and advice for young people, to know where to study, to know what to study, or just to know what jobs and careers are available to them. Yeah. And I had a very, very strong belief that there needed to be a free service for young people to be able to access using technology, because as much as career centers are also very valuable resources, they have the limitations. So I wanted to have a mobile, internet-based platform which people could access and find the information that they needed to take the next step towards getting skilled, getting training, or getting employed.
So what is the steps that people would do? So they know that they want to do something, they've got a skill, they've heard about Career Planet. What is the process? They go onto the internet, they find Career Planet. Then what happens from there?
What happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Career Planet has got two interfaces. You can access it on the internet, on your computer, or on your mobile phone.
That's
and
awesome.
it is optimized for Mobi.
Okay.
So there are a lot of things that Career Planet offers a user. One of them is it is a place for employers to actually post opportunities. And those can be opportunities that are jobs, bursaries, learnerships, even volunteering, any kind of opportunity that helps build a person up towards
Excellent.
building a career.
Excellent.
So that is the one side. On the other side, it is a place where job seekers or work seekers can go looking for work or looking for experience, because even if there are not jobs available, you've got to consider the option of going and volunteering your time, because you can get a lot of experience, which makes you then a more desirable candidate for somebody who's
Okay, just
hiring.
because of time, let's look at this. How do you think the entrepreneurs out there could actually access funding, probably through the same process? You think it's still very much possible?
In the NGO sector, I'd say it's getting more and more difficult. It's actually the NPO now, non-profit organization
So
sector.
in that scenario, what must they do?
Quite well. The first thing that you have to do if you want to start an NPO is you need to establish the need. You need to be sure that you're not doing something that is already available. First of all, make sure there is a need for what you're doing, of what you're offering, and then there is quite a strict legal process that has to be followed. You need to be registered as an NPO, and there's quite a lot of admin that goes with that. You need to be registered with SARS. There's a lot of admin that you have to follow in order to make you somebody that another person would invest their money in or sponsor their money to.
What would you say, what is your opinion on getting funds in this day and age? Is it a must to get a funder or invest it, or can you actually use your services and skills and start out small, get in a little bit and grow it from there? Before you answer though, we're going to a quick ad break, and when we get back, Karen will give you the secret to getting the funds. Welcome back from the ad break, and you're with Open Studio. With me in the studio is Coach Oscar and CEO of Career Planet, Karen. We were discussing quite a few things about mastering your business through the passion that you have. And the last question before the ad break was funding, the secrets to funding if you cannot find an investor. What would you say is the best thing to go to?
Okay. Chesna, I believe that the secret is to start small and to think big. Okay. The one thing about borrowing money is it's expensive. And you can dig yourself into a very deep hole if you're not able to pay that money back. And you have to also understand that investors are not investing because they're nice people. They're investing because they want to make money out of your business as well. I was fortunate in that I was able to borrow some money. I lost it. And then I had to go and fundraise after that. But having fundraising for an NPO and fundraising for a business, a different kind of business, can be quite different. And I would like to say that you don't necessarily have to have a lot of money to start. I think if you are even able to get money from money that you've saved, perhaps, or from immediately friends, family, just start small, and as you start turning over that money, use that money, reinvest it into the business until you build up more. I think it can be a very big mistake to go and get yourself into debt initially. And also then there's the temptation of spending that money on things that are not absolutely necessary. Suddenly you
Like set up a big office.
yeah,
and-
smart office, snazzy clothes, things that are not actually necessary to make your business flow
Grow,
and
yeah.
grow. Correct.
Yeah, you see, I like the kind of concept or the mindset you have when you were actually starting. Now, but somehow, you see, the new generation wants to believe that you hit the business, the money start coming in. So the question I have for you is, are you certain that when I start off with my business, I will make money immediately?
Almost absolutely not.
Oh.
And that's the
It's-
reality of it.
That is the reality. It is hard work, and you build it up. Unless you're very, very fortunate, and there are so few examples of when that happens that it's really not something that you should be thinking about. You need to be prepared to put in a lot of hard work and be clever about the way that you spend your money and the way that you market your company. I think one of the underestimated facts about running a business is how you market it as well. Because
Yeah.
no matter how brilliant your service or your offering is, unless people know about it and unless you market it in a way that they want it, you will never be discovered. You'll never be successful. So you really need to market yourself and your business.
Okay, it's fine. Now you're driving me to one of the areas I actually specialize in, marketing. Now let's look at it this way. Getting your product out there is kind of very expensive. I hope you know that. Now, what are the little ways you feel a very small startup thinking big can actually leverage on something available so he can actually get his product out there? And don't forget, I always believe that whatever you have, whatever you do, someone else is doing it. So how do you think this person can start small in terms of marketing?
Well, the current in the current economy, it is expensive to advertise. However, there are a lot of free tools at your disposal. Social media being one of the biggest, and you can have a huge impact using social media if you use it cleverly. Everybody has friends, has communities, and if you start with those communities and start Facebook groups with those, for instance, or Twitter groups with the people that you know, and you ask them to then refer it to their friends, you can actually build up quite a good following quite quickly.
I think those are good strategies.
So you're saying that, if I should put it in a nutshell, leverage of other people's skills. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
That
if you
is-
don't have a budget, try and find people that have the same passion as you, but with different skills.
Correct. And another thing that's quite useful is if you can network and join industry associations that are doing in the same,
Same-
Like
same type of
networking?
industry.
Yeah.
Yes, network and use those people to leverage from as well. You can also find businesses that are complementary to yours. You know,
Okay,
perhaps
okay.
you are selling a product and there's a local shop that's selling something similar but would benefit from also having yours
Okay,
in. You
yeah.
know, look at where you can save costs. You don't need to put up your own office or your own shop. You might be able to just put your product into somebody else's, for instance.
All right. Viewers, let me rephrase your mind. We're actually talking about mastering the business of your talent. Now, when we talk about mastering the business of your talent, it's about you've got an idea, you have a passion. And like you heard Karen says, no investor wants to invest on that idea if they're not sure, because they are in there to make money. So if you're in business, it's just not about, I have an idea and you need the funding. You have to show some concern. You need to be more disciplined and prove that your ideas can really produce money. And I think that takes me back to one of the things I wanted to ask you. How has it been all this while?
It's actually been very, very good. And we've been fortunate at Career
When you say
Planet.
good, you mean you've never had any hiccups, no challenges?
No, plenty of
Lots of
hiccups,
hiccups.
plenty of hiccups, but that's part of the ride.
Oh.
You know, I don't see that necessarily as a bad thing. I see
Okay.
that as it's part of the path, and the path is bumpy, but as long as you're continuing forward, you know, you're still going to be okay. I mean, Career Planet has grown in the past since 2011, where we put our new mobile platform in. We've grown to, we nearly have now about nearly 90,000 registered members, and we
Wow.
have more than 130,000 visits to the site every month.
Wow.
And it's growing. Every year on year, it grows. So I'd say we're very, very successful from that point of view. We're also now getting to a point where we are an attractive option for other businesses to come and advertise on our site because they know exactly who their target market is. We have very good analytics of who uses the site. So it's actually, I'd say the business is really doing well from that point of view.
Fantastic. That's a good one.
So now you've told us what changed from 2011 going onto the mobile sites. What's next for Career Planet?
Yeah.
In terms of what Career Planet wants to offer, e-learning is definitely the strong focus going forward. And we've been working on it for quite a few months already, developing a portal within Career Planet, which will be dedicated to free online learning or low-cost online learning. We believe, we for Career Planet, the whole point of starting Career Planet was to help young people who don't easily have access to that information usually. So we're a portal where you can come and you can get a lot of information, including upskilling yourself.
So if I understand correctly, early on you were mentioning the people that use your service, you mentioned people, job seekers, and you mentioned employees or employers looking for employees. Yes. So with what you're saying with the e-learning program, it's also a portal for students at the moment that are still in the learning phase. So even if they haven't completed their studies, they can still make use of your website and get the necessary skills if they know what they want to do going forward. Would you say that would be an accurate description of
yes, it would be. The site itself has a lot of information for different user groups. So for instance, if you are a learner at school, you will find a huge amount of information on job descriptions and entry requirements to training institutions and which training institutions are accredited or not. That is the one side of it. You'll also find a lot of information to help prepare you for the world of work. So whether it is to create an online CV, which is something which you can do on Career Planet, or whether it is just hints and tips on what to do when you go for that all-important job interview, what to say, what not to say, what to wear, what not to wear, those kinds of things. And it's also a very good resource for educators to use the site. And the type of e-learning that we'll be putting on the site will be complementary to what people are learning at school and can actually even help older people who perhaps didn't have the schooling that they would have liked. They can actually go back and they can brush up on skills as well.
All right, fine. Let me take you back to one of the points you mentioned here. You talked about getting the family support when you're actually out for your own business. So how was the support like? And it is something you would like to share, the support from the family or friends, wherever?
Yes. Well, in the beginning, everybody thought I was crazy to leave the stability of a paying job and going into something that wasn't a very well-known concept. People didn't really know about online career guidance and career advice. They didn't understand how it would work. So it took quite a lot of convincing. But my husband bought into it, and he was very supportive, and my children were very supportive as well. As I said, I dragged them around the countryside quite a lot because we used to have these mobile units that we would go take out to outlying areas, Clanwilliam and Krepo and all over the province.
All right. And finally, let me ask you this question. How do you think our viewers out there, they've listened to you, how can they actually support you? Because part of what we do in this show is to expose you, not just giving you the exposure you need, but we want to see how they could actually leverage by giving you the needed support, and I know you in turn help them. So how do they get in touch?
Okay. Well, they can visit the website, which is www.careerplanet.co.za. And how they can help is by, if anybody is looking for somebody, even in a domestic situation, looking for any kind of staffing, you can post that opportunity on the website. Wow. If you are unemployed and you're looking for opportunities, register on the website. There's no cost at all. It's all free. Register it and start searching. And if you're a school learner, anybody that's looking for information about careers, go on the site, visit it. The more people we have visiting our site, the more it grows and the more it becomes a place where
So, Karen, we've spoken a lot about the support that you give to people that are going into the. What advice do you have, a parting, if I could say, to the aspiring entrepreneurs out there watching today?
I'd say the most important thing is believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. A lot of times, a lot of other people won't believe in you. Stick to your guns. Believe in yourself.
Okay. Okay.
And no one owes you anything, by the way.
Yes.
I tell you.
Yes.
There's
No one
no
owes
free
you
lunch.
anything.
Nobody owes you a thing. It's up to you to make it work.
Oh,
Absolutely. For things to
That's
change,
fantastic.
you must change.
Right.
Hello, viewers. I hope you heard that. No one owes you anything, and there's no free lunch anywhere. Thank you for watching, and we hope to have you again in the same time. Thank you again, and I hope you've learned a lot.
Yes, thank you guys for watching Open Studio today. If you do want to be a presenter on Open Studio, please contact us on openstudio@capetowntv.org or call us on 021 448 0448. Once again, thank you for watching us, and please stay tuned every day at 5.
And Karen, I just want to say thank you for coming, and we really thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Oscar Chesner. It's great to be here. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, and viewers. Thank you very much, and stay tuned.